Hello, lovelies. Welcome back. Cory here. And in this video, I wanted to share with you or talk with you about the triple goddess and the archetypes that come with the triple goddess, and even more specifically about using essential oils to connect with these archetypes. So first, I wanted to share a little bit about what the triple goddess is, at least for me, and how I work with her. So the triple goddess is sort of referred to in describing three archetypes of the goddess. These are even phases of life that a woman would go through. So we have the maiden, the mother, and the crone, or wise woman. And these archetypes have very specific energies to them. And really, you can be in any of these phases at any time in your life. It's not a defined set of years, you know, that you go through this. Yes, we can group them into years, but it's like the cycle of the moon, right? We can phase in and out of this energy. We can tap into this energy whenever we feel the need to. Like as of right now, it is October 17th, and for the last 6 weeks or so, I've been in a Crone phase, right? I'm 17 weeks pregnant at this point in time, 17 weeks and 4 days. But, you know, so biologically, you would consider me to be in the mother phase, and you don't need to be a mother to be in the mother phase. I just want to clarify that right off the bat. However, there's different, you know, energies we go through. And when I explain to you a little bit about the Crone archetype, I think you'll see why someone might be in that phase, especially during this time of year. So, triple goddess, we have that maiden, mother, and crone. Let's start with the maiden first, because I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself, as you know I tend to do. So, we'll talk in the form of Persephone in her original incarnation, Cory, okay, K-O-R-E. So before she became queen of the underworld, Persephone was Cory. That was her name, which simply translated in Greek means maiden, fair maiden, yes, specifically. So kind of perfect for maiden energy, right? She was also a fertility and abundance and growth and harvest goddess, much like her mother Demeter. Okay, for those of you that don't know, Persephone's parentage, she is the daughter of Demeter, fertility goddess in the Greek pantheon, and Zeus, who you may have heard of, who is the overall leader, I guess you could say, father, patriarch of the Greek pantheon. And so Persephone, their daughter, actually was born into a fertility goddess role until you hear about her most famous myth, where she is taken into the underworld by Hades and eats pomegranate seeds, is somehow contracted to stay there, and Hecate descends into the underworld to attempt to rescue her. In some versions, it's Hermes that does it, but with the version that I knew or originally was told, it's Hecate. So we have this maiden energy that gets transformed into basically almost skipping mother and going straight to crone with this underworld queen archetype here. But let's focus on the maiden aspect. As her maiden aspect, Persephone is the embodiment of fertility and potential, most of all. She's this young goddess, right? She hasn't really achieved anything or done anything yet that would establish, you know, a lifetime of work, as you would think. For somebody who is much older, more advanced in their lifetime, she's just starting out, you know. Think of it as the bud of a flower, right? It hasn't opened yet. We don't know what it looks like, but it has all of this potential. And that's really what maiden energy is all about. That energy is fiery, creative ideas. It's about dawn, if we're to think of it in terms of time of day, right? It's that vitality, having all of this energy, having all of these dreams, going out there and just beginning to take action to pursue those dreams, right? So it's kind of this amazing, tangible energy to it that really links you to the maiden archetype and the potential. If you think of it as the moon phases, this is that new moon gathering up, you know, that waning crescent. We're starting to tick up and really gain momentum here. So that's our maiden archetype, right? Let's move into mother. And I've got Bridget here to represent our mother, because in one of her facets, she is the matron of midwifery. And so Bridget here reminds me of the quintessential mother, especially in that role. You know, she is someone that you can go to for advice, for guidance, right? In her mythology in the Celtic pantheon, she has children as well. She has sons. And so for Bridget, you know, and in particular for the mother archetype, this is plans that were created, you know, in the maiden stage coming to fruition. You know, we've planted the seed, we've watered it, it began to grow, and now that flower that we were talking about, that bud, has opened up and it's blossomed. And we've got that full potential realized, right? So we're harvesting at this point. It's that phase in your life where, like I said, you don't have to be a mom to connect with the mother archetype. This is just that phase in your life where things are starting to come to fruition. You know, best laid plans of mice and men, as it were. But things are coming about. Things that were put into motion during your maiden phase, right? This may be the apex of your career, promotions, you know, that experience of buying a home for the first time. You know, it's achievable things, goals, dreams that you have, writing a book for the first time, you know, finally getting published, you know, long-term goals being realized, okay? And that is that mother creatrix energy. It's just things are finally coming together. Now we enter into the Crone phase. And here I have the Morgan, because I feel like she's the quintessential Crone here. The Crone, for me, is about release. It's about shedding what no longer serves you, what isn't in your greatest good, you know, cutting out the dead weight. It's also about being secure in who you are and what you believe. By the time you've hit this phase, you're solid. You know exactly who you are, what your practice is, where you're going. You ain't got a lot of time for nonsense. You know, you want to think of this as the wise woman, the one who gives you advice, grounds you, anchors you in that shedding. So if you think of this in the moon phases, you know, we've got the maiden in that new moon phase, as I mentioned. We've got mother in the full moon phase. And now we have Crone in that, you know, waning crescent. I think I said waning crescent for maiden. I meant waxing. My apologies. We have the Crone in the waning crescent, all the way down to the dark of the moon, which is about 1 to 2 days prior to the actual new moon, right? So that dark side of the moon where there's maybe just a tiniest little sliver of light. And that energy, you know, the wise woman, the elder of the community, the one who's got shit figured out, you know, that's Crone to me. And so as I had mentioned, at any given time, we can really tap into these energies. And one way to do that, one very basic, simple way to tap into that energy and carry it with you, is through essential oils. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you, because it's easy, each of these that I'm going to talk about. So let's just talk about both of them. These trios. Okay, these are doTERRA kits, actually, but it makes it easy because there's actually one in each of these that connects to each archetype of the triple goddess. You're like, that worked out really well. And it does. They really do. I'm not trying to force these oils into these buckets. They work really well. So I'm going to share those with you. The first one I want to talk about, though, is the yoga collection, because I feel like this one really envelops the archetypes beautifully, even though that wasn't the intention behind it being created. It's how I use it, and it's worked out beautifully. So we have this collection here, these trios. We have Arise, Align, and then Anchor here. And they're perfect. Maiden, Mother, Crone. So let's talk about this for a minute. We have Arise here, and Arise is a blend of lemon, which is very like high energy focus oil, grapefruit, Siberian fir, osmanthus, and melissa, which is often referred to as the oil of light. So you can see where this is like the perfect embodiment of this archetype. It's referred to as the enlightening blend. Okay, so this one, it's just fabulous, you guys. The camera was picking this up and now it doesn't want to. That's okay. So amazing. It's very lively. It's very similar to the Elevation blend. If you've ever tried any of doTERRA's mood supporting blends, very similar because of the osmanthus, but it's a little bit more uplifting, I feel like, even than Elevation, because of the lemon and the grapefruit in there. It's a bit more citrusy, which I love so, so, so much. And those oils really do embody maiden energy to a T. So this could be something, if you want to tap into maiden energy, you could diffuse during ritual when you're raising energy, when you're planning. Say you're planning your calendar for your wheel of the year, mapping out what you're going to do in Sabbats, writing rituals even, writing in your book of shadows. This is so awesome to keep you focused and keep that creative mindset going that the maiden has. You know, that passion flowing. Anytime you're just feeling kind of like worn down and sluggish and you want to tap into the maiden and ask for her help, this is my go-to, okay? So, mother energy. We've got Align, the centering blend, okay? And this one contains, and these are diluted with fractionated coconut oil, just so you know. So if you want to put a rollerball on it and just go to town, you can. This one has bergamot, which is one of my most favorite essential oils, you guys. Bergamot is like, love it so much. Coriander, marjoram, peppermint, geranium, basil, rose, and jasmine. So it is very lively, but it's also very comforting with the florals that are in there at the end as well, which is kind of what the mother archetype entails, right? We have Align, and who better to give you advice and guidance than the mother, right? The first person that we would go to when we're little, who do you think of immediately? Your mom, right? You want to get anything done. Mom, can you help me with this? So a line is also there to help you center, right? And get you into alignment and into focus, which when you're trying to harvest and bring things through tuition, stay on plan, stay on target for what it is that you're trying to achieve, especially those long-term goals. A line is perfect for that, because when our actions are in alignment with our energy, we can do anything we put our minds to. Absolutely anything. So, ooh, yummy mother energy right there. And then last one is anchor, the steadying blend. You know, as I mentioned, we think about that crone and just, she is not set in her ways, but she's solid. She knows who she is. She's been there, done that. And she's here to rock it, right? And that's the type of energy you need as an anchor. You know, whenever my kids need that like steadiness and grounding, they ask for grandma. All the time. All the time. They'll come to me when they need something accomplished, but every few weeks, if they haven't had a grandma fix, they are bouncing off the walls, they're freaking out, and every 5 minutes it's, can we go to grandma's house? Because she just brings them down to center, anchored, solid. And that's what this is for. In addition to that, when you do a lot of shadow work, which is Crone archetype, right? You're doing shadow work, a lot of journeying, cord cutting, releasing. You need something that's going to ground you and anchor you afterwards, because that's high intensity stuff. And that's exactly what this blend does. And this one is a combination of lavender, cedarwood, frankincense, cinnamon, sandalwood, black pepper, and patchouli. It's one of my favorite oils and is very Crone energy. Okay, so anchor for all of that releasing and shedding work. Now, if you're like, okay, the yoga collection's too intense for me, what else can I use? This kit has you covered. Okay, it's $20 wholesale. This one is $52. So this one, in the exact right order as well, we've got lavender, peppermint, and lemon. Maiden, Mother, Crone. And if you recall, when I was reading off these blends, lemon is in arise, peppermint is in align, and lavender is an anchor. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. But I still feel like maybe the goddess had a hand in some of these kit creations here, whether or not doTERRA realizes it. And so these are just simple, basic. And the best part about these three is you can put 2 drops of each in your diffuser. They blend well together magically. This is like your triple goddess blend in a bottle where you're like, I need all 3. You got them. Okay. So again, lemon, sharp, vital focus. Peppermint, keep you in alignment, right? Mood lifting, centering, and then lavender to calm you, bring you back down, ground you, help you release the things you need to release. So if you are looking for, okay, a very simple way to not only connect with goddess energy, okay, but also add to your witchy magical cabinet, because you can use these oils in your magical practice, in ritual, anointing candles, making anointing blends for yourself, diffusing during ritual, diffusing during meditation. You can absolutely use these plant allies in your regular witchcraft magical practice, okay, in addition to connecting to goddess energy. So if you're looking for something that's going to not break your bank and give you that connection without really diving into a lot of crazy stuff, okay, these are really easy. They're already bundled up for you. Already there, ready to go kits. Are there other oils that connect to these archetypes? Absolutely. I had mentioned patchouli as crone energy. Really just about any citrus oil will connect with maiden energy. Mother energy, you've got your flowers, a lot of your woods as well will go with crone energy. However, these kits, like I said, really kind of cover it all. So if it's something that you're looking for, interested in, I highly recommend you go out and get one of these. And like I said, you can start off as simply as just diffusing it in your home with the intention that the oil brings in the energy of that archetype and just really allows you to soak it in. Really, you can start off that easily and then work your way up into incorporating it into meditation, ritual, like I said, a lot of different areas of your practice. But you can start off just very simply by diffusing it in your home with intention. So I hope this helped. I hope that this opened up the world of the triple goddess for you a little bit. I really only briefly touched upon these archetypes. There is so much more to them than even what I explained here, but I just wanted to give you a jumping off base point for, you know, whatever research you want to do, whether or not you want to dive into this. The triple goddess is a great entry point to connecting with goddess energy and goddess archetypes. So wanted to make sure you had that in your witchy kit. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on the next one. All right, loves? I hope to see you in that next video. So until then, blessed be.